Okay, so continuing where I left off. The next day, when he picked her up, he had a general plan of action in mind. He led her around through each store looking for a nice pair of jeans. They laughed and generally had a great time together. Everything was going smooth. Brian didn't act angry, upset, and he didn't even talk about the relationship whatsoever. He just hung out with her as if she were a close friend. After they left the mall, she asked, "So what do you want to do now?" And Brian quickly replied, "You know, I'm pretty hungry. How about a bite to eat?" She agreed, and so they drove over to Boston's Pizza. Now, Brian didn't give me too many details as to what happened after that, but rest assured, they both ended up at his place, and I'll leave the rest to your imagination. They work things out and are still together as I write this, or as I read this. The main reason for that is Brian realized he needed to man up and take charge of the relationship. Since Brian's breakup, I have developed many other techniques that I shared with you in the previous chapters. Put your thinking cap on and use them all to your advantage. Chapter 11: Makeup Sex. I know most guys don't want to be given tips on how to be better in bed, but I honestly couldn't exclude this chapter. Put your ego aside for a moment and listen to what I have to say, because I'm going to give you some pretty solid tips and tricks on how to get more pleasure for yourself as well as for your girl. I've always been a believer in that women absolutely love sex. Maybe your past girlfriends tried to manipulate you with sex and only give it to you when you were on your best behavior. If you ask me, that's bullshit. You should be the one in charge of when you have sex, and if you're good in bed, you will be. Women actually have orgasms 10 times more powerful than men do. Jealous? I certainly am. That's still pretty good news for you, though, because if you can be the one to provide her with mind numbing orgasms again and again, you'll be getting sex whenever you want it. She will basically want it more than you do. Dominance is by far the number one thing you can bring to bed with you. Women want a take charge man when it comes to sex and anything, really. Women want to be told what to do, when to do it, and even how to do it. Physically dominate her by moving her into positions you want. Tell her when she's doing something you like. Moan or grunt when she's doing something you like. Dirty talk to her, which is a personal favorite of mine. See below. Or listen to what else I have to say. Some women even go so far as to imagine themselves as animals. They just There's just something about animalistic sex that really turns them on. Your number one most powerful tool in the bedroom. Your voice is your number one tool in the bedroom. That's right, your voice. To be specific, it's what you say and how you exert your dominance with your voice. You use your voice to tell her what you want her to do for you, what you're about to do to her, and what you use your voice to say naughty things. Most guys are actually pretty quiet in bed. They just huff and puff until they finish. Bad idea. You can do it that way. You can do way better than that. I remember back to my first long term girlfriend. She absolutely loved to be animalistic in bed. The more I talked dirty to her, the crazier she went in multi orgasmic bliss. I'd tell her how naughty she was, how slutty I wanted her to be, and how wet she was. The first couple of times it took a great deal of courage. I'd swallow hard and blurt out another raunchy line. She loved it every frickin' time. I believe that it's mental stimulation that makes dirty talk so powerful. While men are aroused by visual imagery, women take pleasure in sound, touch, and feeling. Women want to feel like a slut in bed. Unfortunately, most guys are too timid or suffer from limiting religious beliefs or even attempts to or even attempt to try this. To even attempt to try this, sorry. A lot of guys are are concerned that they will insult their girlfriends if they talk dirty to them. First of all, women like it when you say dirty things to them in bed. Remember that. Secondly, I would recommend easing into it. Start off by saying small dirty things to gauge her reaction. I guarantee she will like it. Use this to build your confidence up to the point where you're saying you want her to act like a slut. Chapter 12: Preventing a breakup before it happens in the first place. Which I will go on to in the next segment. So come back and listen again. Hope to see you soon.